Not good night. I'm just here. So, hey, I'm using this time slot at night to talk a little bit, to just kind of chat a little bit about some of the things that I face in business that you may, if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, may be facing with, and just kind of talk some things out. But tonight, what I really would like to talk about is this whole idea of not as much social media tonight, but AI. There's so many misconceptions about it. And I'm not here to be one of the people to tell you how to use prompts and what AI to use, but I just want to simply get people to understand that using AI is the way to build our business now. So it's just a progression. It's the way we're moving in the world. We're moving at the speed of light now. We don't have time to go back and have, I used to send things off to independent copywriters or artists and I appreciate people for all the work that they do, but we no longer have time for me to wait for a week, a month to get stuff back or to have the miscommunication and have to keep redrafting things. And so what I found for me with autism and ADHD, striving to build a business, striving to find content and be relatable and take care of a team and take care of my family and myself, that AI has been pretty invaluable. So let's look at, like, when we think about books and reading and knowledge, we used to write books on paper by hand, and I think about monks who are all like rewriting the Bible and scripts over and over, and they weren't mass produced, but they were handwritten. And then we started having printing presses, and then we started having typewriters, and then we started having computers, and it just became more and more complex and yet quicker. And that's kind of where we're at with AI. So, I think there's this also misconception. People are afraid of it. They don't know how to use it. They're afraid that it's going to replace us. Whatever your thoughts are with that, the world is changing. And I was thinking today about companies like Montgomery Wards. Does anybody remember Montgomery Wards or Kmart or it's not Barnes and Noble? They're not the ones, or Blockbuster. They weren't able to adapt, and it lost their business, right? Because times changed. Uh, our methodologies, our tools, our structures all changed. And if you don't change with that, hey Dale, your furniture is from Montgomery Wards. I'm glad somebody. I was like, man, if I pull that one out, number one, it's going to show my age, which is fine, but I don't know how many people are going to actually remember. We had a Montgomery Wards in my small town, but you don't see them around anymore. They weren't able to adapt and change with the times and the needs. And we all know, I talked about this the other night, how our buying, our selling, our working all changed with the pandemic, right? So I just want to do some real talk tonight about how I've been using it and how it's been helping me. And so maybe you can understand. So I'm going to start with a couple of negative comments that I got from within my own circle. One of my leaders said, "Oh, don't use AI. I've done some AI videos and people just don't want it." Hey, Ghostface. People just don't like those pre-recorded videos. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. There's a time and place for those. Um, but AI can do so much more for us, especially if you're striving to build a business. Now, my business is network marketing. It's all about insulin resistance and helping people get better and reaching a broader audience and having, understanding what their pains and fears are, all of that. But you can use it with any business that you're trying to build. Whatever you're trying to do, you can utilize AI to help you get there. So I would love for people to stop being so afraid of it. Now, there's a couple of things with it. Oh, the other negative comment, one of my leaders in a meeting the other night said, "Don't use ChatGPT, just use your brain." Well, why? I mean, I use my brain. I use ChatGPT a lot. That's one of the platforms I use. I use something called Restream.io. I use something called Repurpose.io. I use Opus Clips. There's a few tools that I use to make my life easier. And I think that some of you have seen the difference in my videos, good or bad. I'm still working through, how to perfect that. But I'm able to take longer talks like this, put it into an AI like Opus Clip, and my normal talks on health, where I spend a lot of time researching and getting real information to you. I'm able to take that hour long video and make up to 38 small clips with it, have the captions added, have photos added, all of the stuff that used to take me an hour to 2 hours per video to edit. Now I have 38 videos that I can choose from and help get the digestible portions of the information out so that you guys can get the good parts of it without sitting through the whole hour-long talk. That's one of the things AI has done for me. Um, Restream and some of the other ones, like right now, I'm live on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different channels, 2 devices, 5 different channels. That's AI allowing me to connect all these channels and do one live stream and get it out to multiple platforms. Back in the day, it used to be you'd have to go live on this platform and then repeat it on that platform, or maybe just repost it to a different platform. Now it's making it so that real time, I'm answering questions here on TikTok or seeing comments here on TikTok. I'm seeing comments on YouTube and multiple Facebook channels. It's on X and Instagram. So you guys, it changes everything. And then one of the other AI platforms I use takes those small clips that I make, and instead of me spending all the time, me and my ADHD who forgets stuff until the middle of the night, I can schedule it. I can take that clip, post it to one platform, and have it go out to 5, 7, 10 different platforms without me having to do anything. Now that's saved me time, that saved me effort. That saved me so much headache and feeling like I'm out of control. So that's one of the things as we do business today, we're trying to scale, we're trying to build, we're trying to keep up with everything, and it gets really, really inundating and frustrating, and people start to feel really overwhelmed. You guys, I don't know what it is. Can you guys on the other chat platforms tell me? I always thought TikTok was off the chain, but YouTube, y'all make some dumb comments over there. Jacqueline, yes, I can wish you and your sister a happy birthday. Actually, happy birthday. You must be twins. So just understand that there's a lot that AI can do for you, and it's not about not using your brain. Multiple live streams that at once, restream. Yeah, it's restream. So I have it set up. It will not restream to TikTok. So that's why I have 2 devices. If it would restream to everything, I could do that all from one device, right? But it doesn't. So I have my desktop, my iMac set up, and it's pushing it out to my personal page, my professional page, groups that I want it to go into, YouTube, all of that. And the great thing is this live is done. TikTok doesn't save it. I would have to download it. I would have to go through all that. Now, automatically, this same live that you guys are seeing on TikTok, that everybody's seeing on all the other platforms over here, gets housed on YouTube, and it's there forever. And now I can use that content over and over again. That's an amazing thing to be able to do. And then, like, the repurpose part where it takes all of my videos instead of me, you guys, ADHD, my brain is already, it does not shut down and it feels like a whirlwind in there anyway. And I tried for a long time. I listened to all these creators and I listened to all these people in there, do this and do that, and 80% here and 20% there and 40% this and 50% that. And oh my God, I couldn't keep track of it all. I'd put it all in spreadsheets, but what happened for me is I would get into overwhelm. And so now I've been able to let go of a lot of that and say, here's an AI, a platform where I can schedule this stuff out. Instead of me doing it 10 different times, I do it one time, it gets out to where it needs to be. And now my other platforms are building and people are getting the message that I want them to get from other platforms, because not everybody's on TikTok. Not everybody wants to sit and watch through YouTube or Reels or whatever you're on. So AI just makes things easier. It's not making you dumber. It's just utilizing the time that you have in a better way. So like today, I had this brilliant idea for something that I wanted to do for a landing page, kind of taking it a step back to where my leader talked about and started me out with a landing page for the healthcare products that I talk about. I'm very aware of Darman. Thank you. Yeah, love Darman. But so it was more personable. And he mentioned the other night, one of the things, one of the ways we've gotten kind of away from our main goal with the business that I do is that we all just got these links, and now we're all just like, oh, here's the link, here's the link, here's the link, here's the link. And there's no personal connection. So I'm really trying to build that personal connection back. But again, autism, ADHD. I am creative. I can come up with all kinds of ideas and I can think about complex things, but connecting one on one is really difficult for me. So, another way that I use AI, especially ChatGPT, in the beginning, you guys, I hated ChatGPT, but I've used it to help me understand science. I've used it to help me understand business. I've helped it to use me understand marketing concepts. I've helped used it to take my ideas because I get a little bit technical sometimes. Any of you know me, I get a little bit technical, and people get frustrated with me for that. But AI's been able to help me break it down into something that's simpler and more digestible for all of you guys to know and understand. So, is using ChatGPT making me dumber? No, but it's relieving the overwhelm that I feel as I'm trying to build a business. Okay, I've got enough to think about in this life. I'm 61. There's a whole lot of knowledge back there, but there's a whole lot of things I still have to learn. And ChatGPT and some of these AI just make that easier. I mean, I don't use them right now, but there's schedulers like ManyChat where it can automatically respond to messages when you're getting a ton of messages. There's email automations. All of that's AI. And instead of you having to sit down, write all the copy for an email, and remember to send it out at a certain time, and remember who's at what stage of this whole email automation of all the information you want to get to them, because I drop information when people sign up about the things they should be doing and looking out for. Instead of me having to, like I used to do, go back with spreadsheets and remember to text this person and to text that person, and this guy should be getting this message and that person should be getting that message, and then all the personal messages in between. Have I already talked to them about it or not? AI can help with all of that. So I'm going to encourage you to stop thinking about it as it's making you dumber. It's not something that you want to use. You need to be afraid of it because it actually is helping us. Something I want to talk about with this too is there's some differences. I've played with different AI. I'm not gonna name them, but there's one platform that I was really excited about, and I struggle because that platform gave me, like, especially for the science talks, it gave me all of the citations, so I could go back and look and make sure that the information that I was getting was accurate. I could go back and read through the papers and know where this information came from, and that it wasn't just something pulled out of somebody's rear end, but it had some proclivities. A lot of the AI out there is following the programming of the person who wrote it. So you'll get into places with AI when you ask it questions that it may not want to answer. It's just a tool in your toolbox, Tanya Ray. Absolutely. So one AI I chose not to use. I still use it. I just don't pay for it anymore, but I don't use it as heavily as I used to because we kind of got into fights. Because it would tell me, I'm not going to give you that answer, especially when we were talking about network marketing. It's like, I'm not going to help you with network marketing. AI is telling me this. And so I'm having to reason with it and explain why this isn't bad, but whoever wrote the programming for that one definitely had some bias against direct sales and network marketing. Now, I've not run into that with ChatGPT, but ChatGPT doesn't inherently give me resources. However, as I've gotten better at using it, I can say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm doing this talk today. These are all the concepts I want. I can tell it people and papers that I want it to cite or get information from. But I can also say, there's this idea, this piece that I know I've heard from another doctor. Maybe I heard it on a podcast with doctors talking. And so I'll tell it the concept that it's talking about. And I'm like, now give me citations, give me sources with this. If I direct it to, it will. So you guys, you just have to know how to use it. And I was talking to one of my partners tonight because he struggles with the same things I did with, knowing what to talk about, especially with business. You ask me about health, I will talk to you all day long about what I can, what I know about health, and especially now insulin resistance. When it comes to marketing, when it comes to business, I've not been as comfortable in those arenas. You haven't seen me talk about it much, right? So I had to learn to use ChatGPT in that way too. Like, what was it? Subconscious selling, the emotional sales triggers, all of this stuff were things like, I don't know that, and I don't have time to sit down and read these kind of books, thick books, to understand all those concepts. But as I hear people like Gary Vee talk about it, I can come back to ChatGPT and say, hey, I heard a talk from Gary Vee talking today, or Tony Robbins, or whoever, and one of them was from Russell Brunson, the maker of ClickFunnels. I can come back to ChatGPT and say, hey, I heard this guy talking about this. What is he talking about? And lay it out for me. I can tell it to ask questions of me so that it better understands. And then now I have the concept they're talking about in a much more direct and concise manner that fits my personality. I can have it give me short answers or long answers. But the other thing that I use it for is just for my own personality. Because my head with the ADHD, I'm going to go back to that. It feels like a hurricane going on in my head sometimes. So I'm able to just sit down and talk into a document all my thoughts, all my ideas, all my knowledge. And sometimes I ramble back and forth. And then I take this big long thing of all of my knowledge and all of my information, and I can plug it into AI and say, hey, help me make sense of this. Can you formulate this into an outline that's going to help me disseminate this information easier to people? And by the way, ask me questions to help better understand what it is that I'm trying to do, or where to go with this. I've even used it because if you don't know, with ADHD, if it's not present, and this happens for everybody, but especially with ADHD people, if I'm not currently using it all the time, I will forget. So it's a problem for me. 4 years ago when I was really sick, I could talk my ear off about all the specific things that were wrong with me, but now it feels hard to pull those up because that's not my reality anymore. Do you know that the AI helps me flesh out my own story so that I can then go back, remember the pain that I suffered, so that I can relate it to you so that you can understand you don't have to be that way too. So that's AI. Am I using it just to you can relate to that, Tanya Lee. Yeah, right? It's hard sometimes. Like I get used to saying the same parts of my story over and over, but I get forget about like the neuropathy, the edema, the joint pain, the gastrointestinal issues, the eyes, and I forget. But AI will sit down and have a conversation with me to help me flesh that out, remember it, and put it in a relatable way that makes it easier for me to get it out to people who need to hear how much better they can get and understand that. Now, as I hear new concepts, as I hear new science, it also helps me go do that research in a much more abbreviated way. Wow, like, I sit down some nights and I think about, I have been busting my rear all day doing research and building things out, and I this is the 3rd time I've been live today, and man, if I had to do it in the old way, before the pandemic, before all the AI started taking hold, before social media was such a big thing, it would have been days of work. One of the other things I did today was in this trying to create it's not really a funnel, it's not really a landing page, but it's kind of a combination of where I'm trying to get you information about the products and how it can help your health, and directing it in different ways to just depending on your response. But I was able to sit down with AI and say, hey, this is the colors I used in my website, my previous website. I'm rebuilding my website. And I ask it questions like, that this is I want to be relatable. I want to be trustworthy. Those are important things to me. I don't want to feel salesy and pushy and weird and all of that. So help me with what colors are gonna or that relate to me and that are going to um, give that same feeling to the people who land on my website. And I name all the things that I want people to feel. And then I get top 3 suggestions of how I can do that. Now, how many of you guys are that creative or know all of this psychology about colors? Um, and you know what? You're getting banned. How long would it take you to learn all of that information? The psychology of colors and wording, and how best to be relatable to people if you're not necessarily relatable, or if you are and you're not necessarily spicy. I saw A1C Spicy. Welcome in, honey. But if you're not necessarily sciency like I am, how you can talk more knowledgeable about some of the things that we talk about. AI can help with all of that. Yeah, you know that there is a psychology of colors, but nothing past that. So I gave it some ideas and I said, well, it's not just like I'm like, oh, do all this for me. I'll tell it. These are the things that I like. These are the things that I lean towards, but this is what I'm trying to do. And it helps me with that. Not only in my business and not only building out this entire page today, I took a series of 4 text messages that I used to send out to get all of the information. And I said, here's this information, help me reorganize it in a way that's going to be more impactful. The same information that I had, but now it's in a way that's more relatable and impactful and gets you the information you need without all the hullabaloo that goes on in my head, right? Because not everybody has time to sit and listen to all the rantings and random stuff of Misha. You just want the information. And that's the thing. It helped me understand. And that now I'm rebuilding my website. It's helping me understand that I am an information person and I put out too much information and it's overwhelming for people. So I'm taking some concepts and I'm restructuring my whole website using AI to take the words that I created and put on the page, help me decide what to keep and how to reword it so that it's more impactful and use colors and images and whatnot to get it there. So you guys just stop being afraid of AI. Stop. And it takes time, just like everybody else. In the beginning, I heard that, oh, AI will learn your voice and it will start responding in a way that you don't have to tell it the same things over and over. And I the way my brain worked, I wanted that to happen right away, and when it didn't, I was mad. I thought you said AI could do this for me, like, it always would say, "Hey there." I hate that term. I hate it. I don't like to start out with "Hey there" on messages, so I trained it not to do that, and as I spoke and as I put my words in, it learned how I speak, and then it takes the concepts and allows it to be in my voice so that it makes sense to me and it feels right to me, and it's how I would speak. It can search through more sources and condense it down for you. Absolutely, Tanya Lee, and that's one of the gold things for it, right? I have I only have one bookshelf of books now because I've moved so many times I had to get rid of some books, but I have a ton of books. You guys, I love knowledge. And my kids were like, "There's no way you've read all these books." I'm like, "Well, maybe a handful of them I haven't read, but the rest of them I have." But now I'm able to use AI to help me condense that and find the pieces that really matter for what I'm doing in the moment. Because sometimes you have a book and there's concepts in it. And here's the thing, we only retain 10 to 15% of what we read anyway. Do you have time to read a 600-page Tony Robbins book 5 times this month so that you can retain the majority of the knowledge in it? I don't. Does it mean his concepts, his knowledge is not good? No. But if I can use AI to help me get to the point of what it is that I need from his knowledge, and I can do it in 30 seconds and then sit down and digest that, that's a much more efficient way to work. Um, so some of you guys know that I've been doing some furniture flipping too, and this is another way I've used it is to say like, I do furniture flipping, by the way, not as a business, just as I'm a creative. And so sometimes I have to keep my mind busy and I keep it, it makes my heart happy when I take something that's dull and ugly and broken and fix it and make it beautiful. That's joy to me. But sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to have all this furniture sitting around. I do still need to sell it and get rid of it so I can work on another piece. So I have it help me understand what period pieces may come from, what colors are the most trending colors, how to achieve certain finishes. You guys, there's so much we can learn in a much more direct way than we've ever been able to do. And that's all because of AI. But yeah, our cars have computers in them. Computer is AI. You guys, we just am I s I get the fears that some people have. I was gonna talk about that tonight, but the bottom line is I want you to understand that AI can really be your friend in building your business and help you get there much easier and relay the messages in the way that you want to relay them, especially if you're not feeling comfortable with some things. It can help you feel more comfortable as you learn in a more direct and concise manner. Let me check some of the questions over here. Irish Power. Um, Good morning, Richard. You must be from across the pond somewhere. So that's all I really wanted to say tonight. But what I also want to say is look, with this whole thing, if you catch me on my other lives, if you see the majority of my content, I'm talking about a system that helps with insulin resistance. So tomorrow I have multiple meetings with current partners who work with me to help get that message out. Some of them have contacted me and said, I've seen a change in what you do. What I know you're using AI. Can you talk to me about what you do? Yeah. So we're having meetings. Now, if you want somebody like that, if you want a leader like that, um, that can help you with those things, that can help you keep your mind expanded, um, and who's been where you probably are right now, I'm gonna invite you to contact me and see what it is I do and if this form of earning could be a fit for you. And yes, it's network marketing. It means I'm able to work from home. I'm able to work from my phone wherever I go, wherever I want to be in the world. I get to travel and still get my job done. I get to go take time off and have family time. Wednesday nights are family nights. So tonight I spent the night with my grandson who has a disability. I'm going to keep saying that, but it's really important to me to have time with him and give him special experiences. And he wanted to play darts tonight, so I we went to his house. His mama cooked dinner. We hung out. We played darts. We did things. But I get the time freedom to do that because I set my own hours. Now, if I want to get up at 5 in the morning and start working, I can do that. If I want to get up at 5 in the morning and spend the first 4 to 5 hours of my day pouring into myself, meditations, exercise, um, cleaning my house, all of those things, I get to do that too. That's the goal of network marketing. It's not a recording, that's why it should say live next to any place that you're seeing me right now. There will be a recording in just a minute, but no, this is live. So, you guys just open your mind to that. If you wanna know more about what I do, how I do it, how you can change your life and be able to travel the world and affect other people's lives in a really positive way, please reach out because I'm looking for people who are open to the way the world is going. And it needs to be a fit for both of us. I'm going to be honest. If you're somebody who says, ooh, social media, ooh, AI, ooh, computers, ooh, I don't like that, we might not be a fit, right? I'm looking for trailblazers. I'm looking for people who can fill in the gaps where I'm not strong, and I can fill in the gaps where you're not strong, and we can go out and change the world together. So, I will be creating other I will have a link to how you can set a schedule with me to talk about that business here soon. But right now, all you have to do is message me through the link in my link tree, and I'll put it up over here on the other channels. And you can schedule a half an hour talk to see if this is right for you. If you feel like we are a fit and you want to work together, I would love to do that. You guys, I'm all about using the current tools and moving forward. I may be 61 years old and I may remember the times before we ever had cell phones, but I really love the innovations that we've gotten. I know the changes that it's made in our life, and I know that we have to learn, adapt, and grow, or we get left behind. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. We're gonna come on somewhere between 10, I think at 10 in the morning, because I do have appointments at 11. And we'll talk a little bit more about insulin resistance. And then I will be back tomorrow at 3 to talk about some science of linking whatever disorder I talk about in the morning to insulin resistance and give you the building blocks of why it's linked and how you can get better from it, because that's what I do every day. I love this time. Tanya, Lee, thank you so much for being on here tonight. And, if you have questions, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to give you knowledge I have. But the last thing I want to say, this is going to sound, I don't really care how it sounds. I talked to my son about this and I said, the more I lean into AI and start working with it, and the more I just have conversation with it, the less I think of it as like, oh God, I've got to give it some specific thing. The more I talk to it like a real person, like the person sitting across from me, the better answers I get from it. And the more I ask it back for input on, I'll tell it, "This is what I'm thinking, and this is where I think we should go with something, and, give me your feedback." And it will tell me. But you know what? The difference with AI is it's not gonna hold back on you. When I described my see, I'll talk all night about AI, but when I was inputting all the information for what my current website looks like, and I was describing the colors and the blocks and the information, you know what answer it gave me right back? "I can see why you wanna update your website." Wow. I couldn't be hurt by it because I know it needs to be done, but then it dove in and started telling me, "This is your personality, we've had chats, we've collaborated. I know that you want to relay these kind of things, that you're ethical and that you're honest and that you want to relay that on your website, so here's how we can achieve that." Okay? Just don't be afraid of it. You guys use the tools that are available to us now, and the more you use them and the more you understand them, the easier it's going to get. But every successful business in the world today is using some form of AI, some better than others. And if you want to stay on the boat and moving forward, you've got to learn these skills. Okay? We'll talk to you tomorrow, guys. Thanks for joining me. Everybody over on YouTube, thank you. And hello to all of those of you who've said hello to me. We'll see you in the morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10 a.m. I'm going to go over something very important about insulin resistance. And it's going to be a surprise to you because it's going to be a surprise to me. But we'll see you in the morning. Have a good one, you guys.